Getting far in critical tower defense seems like a fairly easy task until waves 12 and 17, at least on normal difficulty. So, in today's video, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to get farther and even triumph in CTD. Let's get right into it. Alrighty, hello, and welcome back, or welcome to the Shota's official YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to not only get farther in critical tower defense, but also how to get a triumph. Additionally, this video is going to teach you some essential tips and tricks regarding the in-game mechanics and whatnot. So let's begin by talking about towers. When you first start out in CTD, you are given the Bandit and the Archer. These towers are pretty decent for early game and even mid game if you know how to use them, and I will be releasing a video on how these towers fare when it comes to endurance. Anyways, towers are pretty important in CTD, as they are your only means with which to do damage to dummies. Some ways to maximize your towers are to simply use them and get comfortable with them. And after you've played a few matches, you will hopefully have a good grasp of how CTD runs and operates. Anyways, let's go ahead and properly begin this video by discussing a few techniques that generally work well. Placing down your towers properly in CTD is incredibly important. Seriously, I cannot stress this enough. If you take nothing else from this video, then pretty please understand that the placement of your towers is just incredibly important. And there are several reasons for this, but the main one is that the placement of your towers determines how well their range is maximized. Every tower, excluding the miner, has a range circle, and within the circle, the tower will do damage or support others depending on the type. So let's use the melee tower warrior for an example. If I were to place it here on the map, which is a straight part of the path, then the warrior's extremely low range is usable, but this is definitely not the most efficient placement. With most towers, especially those with low range, corner placement is going to be your safest bet. But in my opinion, if you have a tower with enough range, placing it in the middle of a C or S bend will be the absolute best maximization of range thanks to an extended area that basically covers two corners instead of one. There are a few other lessons to learn when it comes to placement, but I think that these are the most important. The type of tower that you use can be surprisingly important when it comes not only to your playstyle, but also the strategies that you follow. When it comes to tower types, I can't really give each and every one of you specific advice, since that would be basically impossible. However, I can give you all some pretty nice general advice that's going to help the vast majority of you. So there are basically three types of towers: support, melee, and ranged. Finding an effective combination of these towers can definitely be a consuming task, but it's very much worth experimenting with different towers to determine what might be best for you. A general loadout that I've been using to triumph different maps includes the Gunner, Blaster, Miner, and Programmer towers, and for certain maps, I also like to throw in a Grenadier as well, but I have gotten a few triumphs with this single loadout. Of course, that's just me in my opinion, and I do have an extra slot open for maybe another support tower, but I find that I generally don't need to use it, and the Prophet Tower, which is generally used for late game, isn't too useful for me. Of course, the story does change when you select hard or insane difficulties, seeing as dummies are more powerful, but the point still stands. Make sure to choose towers that are right for you. The same loadout won't work on every map, and it takes a lot of trial and error to find a good combination. For my final tip, I like to talk about strategy. The previous two tips were mainly about towers, but it is now time to talk about strategy in general to get you a bit further. One of the best strategies that I've come up with to get farther in CTD is to aggressively manage your towers and not lose focus. I know that this sounds fairly obvious, but it really does help when you're at waves 12 and 17, in normal mode, to pay attention to the wave number so that you know what to expect. Additionally, managing your towers with a watchful eye will allow you to upgrade in place as you see fit as quickly as possible, meaning more damage and less health lost. My second strategy is actually really simple. Upgrade, upgrade, and upgrade. And when I say this, I don't mean that you should place down a single tower, max it out, and then place another one. No, definitely not. What I mean by this is that you should place down a tower, upgrade it to as high as you can, and then place down another one when the cost of upgrading become too high. On the topic of upgrades, make sure not to over-upgrade your miners, as that can cost you some significant cash loss down the line. For the third and final strategy, I want to again discuss upgrades. This time about the money behind the upgrades. So let's say you're at wave 9 or 10 in normal mode, and you have a tower at level 3 with an upgrade to level 4, costing $2,500. In theory, you could save up for that expensive purchase given how early the wave is, but it's actually a better idea to place down another tower and upgrade it to that same level or one below. This is so that you don't take excessive damage or even a defeat by simply waiting to upgrade a tower. Anyways, I think that's enough tips and tricks for critical tower defense. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and learned something useful. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up. As always, don't forget to use code SHOTUS at RedragonShop.com. Have a great day, and bye-bye!